Today on Whiskey Wednesday, we talk about how we drink whiskey.
Hi, I'm Brian.
I'm Jerica, and it's Whiskey Wednesday!
Now, we've done a couple of Whiskey Wednesdays already, and we thought, you know what? Instead of repeating ourselves in every video, we could probably cut 5 minutes out if we just explain some of the techniques and terms that we're using, and then say, hey, if you want to know that, go here! So, the first thing we want to talk about is the 3 different ways that we try whiskey and why. So we're going to explain it a little bit. By the way, if you're curious what whiskey we're drinking today, we're drinking an everyday drinker. It's Costco's blended scotch, which I actually like, so anybody that starts judging...
We're going to go into detail with a review on that later down the line. It's on the list.
But anyway, so 3 different ways. First way, let me just put this to the side and put that guy to the side. First way is straight out of the bottle into a glass, also known as neat.
And we're going to pause to show Brian's shirt. Isn't that cool? Links in the description below.
So, neat is the purest expression of that whiskey, and it's the debatably hardest way to drink it. Some people really like it. Some people have a tough time with it. Actually, there'd be a 4th way, and that's as a mixer. We might cover cocktails at some point, but I don't know. I'm kind of a purist. Anyway, so in a glass like this, which is called a Glencairn, you can also use Belgian beer tasting glasses. You can even use a squared or a rocks glass if you really want to. The difference is, see how this flares out and this flares in? You will get a better concentration of aromas. With this, it will also lose the alcohol much less quickly. Now, in that glass, it doesn't matter because it's cold. So the alcohol won't evaporate as quickly because it isn't as warm as it is here. But a great technique is to give it a swirl. And this takes a little bit of time, but it's not that hard. You swirl it around in the glass, being careful not to spill it out. That's the hard part. And then you give it a sniff. Now, if you start to get burny sensations, stop. Back off. Take a few breaths. Try again. Don't breathe as deep. Don't put your nose in quite as far. If you're new to nosing whiskey, it will burn you, and then you'll lose all the sense of smell, and it won't be as much fun. And if it's a pretty high proof thing and you're not used to doing this, you could pass out. So, be careful.
That's an extreme case, but yeah.
Oh,
now, some tips to nosing whiskey.
And I just messed it all up.
Is you want to try some different variations. One tip is to actually breathe in with your mouth open, because this opens up all of the
nasal
different receptors for scent.
Also, your left nostril versus your right may be different.
Yeah, so you can kind of rock it back and forth slightly, or smell on one side and smell on the other side.
I tend to be a little stronger on my left. I don't know why. Probably because I've broken my nose enough times.
I know these things probably sound really weird if you're not used to it.
We sound all kinds of uppity right about now, don't we?
But for us, I think
it's
rather equally, smelling the whiskey is almost as enjoyable as tasting.
Especially really peaty scotches. They're so complex and so interesting. I almost don't even need to drink it. I mean, I do. But
and because your sense of smell is so closely related to your sense of taste, smelling the whiskey before tasting it is really going to enhance your experience.
See, now I've kind of acclimated to it. I'm not really getting as much smell off it anymore. So I'm going to back off just a little bit. And that way you get the sense of the room again. Some people will say, smell your elbow. Like, do that. And it actually clears out your olfactory senses and you can smell again. But I'm going to take a taste.
Of course, if you do that in a bar, people might think you're weird.
Yeah.
Hey, who cares?
You're sneezing.
Yeah.
You're being polite. When it comes to tasting, your first sip of any whiskey, just drink it. Just in the mouth and swallow. Don't hold it. Don't do anything.
The reason being is that you need to I'm messing up that word again. You need
get used to
the taste of the alcohol.
Acclimate.
It isn't the taste of the beverage itself.
Alcohol.
It's the alcohol that kind of
Whiskey is a high alcohol product. It's 40% or more by law. Okay, so there's a lot of ethanol in there. Ethanol has a bitter, biting taste. That's what makes distilled spirits so strong. So you want to acclimate your tongue to it. Go ahead.
So if you take that first taste and you just drink it down, not a big taste, just enough to get your body used to that alcohol, the second taste you can really experience the flavors and the variations within the
I
drink
heard something
itself.
really funny one time. Whiskey is the only drink that it's okay to make a face after drinking. But only on the first taste. After that, you shouldn't be making that taste anymore. See, like
And
I'm
when you
going for my
taste it,
second.
you can feel it kind of burn down your throat and up your nose. And if you get both of
your
those
nose?
sensations, you don't get the little.
No.
Oh, I do. Then you know that alcohol has gone through your entire system, so that you are able now to experience the real essence of the beverage for your second drink. So for your second drink, we're going to do
Everybody does it different.
what is known as the Kentucky Chew.
Yeah, there's a couple names for it. She calls it the whiskey chew.
And what you do is you let it sit in your mouth and you kind of do a chewing motion.
You go like that.
Yeah, it's kind
I
of.
don't do this, by the way.
kind
I
of-
never do this.
I do chewing. I don't really do sloshing because that just seems wrong to me. But the concept is that you're coating all of your palate so that you can get all the nuances from the beverage.
I'm weird. I'll tell you what I do when she's done. She like chews it. Yeah. I've seen people do that before. What I do is I like make a bowl with my tongue and pour it on that and then let that fall out and go all over my mouth. So it's a similar concept. I'm just weird. I do it different. Because again, try chewing your whiskey in a bar and see what people look at you like. Not that you'd care. I mean, have a few whiskeys and you really won't care.
I also kind of swirl my tongue around in there because your tongue is going to have all the different base taste receptors on it.
Yeah, according to the diagrams, only in the front it's sweet, and in the middle,
Yep.
that's wrong. Actually, the receptors are spread out throughout your whole tongue. That was weird. The next way to try whiskey, and this works for older whiskeys mostly. It does work on younger stuff. It works on high proof stuff as well, and it works on peated scotches very, very well. What this is we add just a little bit of water, a few drops of water, to the whiskey. And as someone told me today, it makes some of the things in there, some of the components of the whiskey that are water soluble dissolve, and things that are less water soluble but are alcohol soluble fall out of suspension slightly. So it changes it completely. A lot of the oils and things like that will go to the surface. Sometimes it makes things stronger, sometimes it makes them different. There's all kinds of stuff that happens. So being that we just tried this whiskey, I already kind of know what it tastes like. I'm just going to add a little bit of water to it and give it a quick swirl and a smell. It actually makes this one more aggressive, which is interesting because this is a blended scotch. This is not a big highfalutin fancy thing. I mean, this is like an everyday drinker. You get it in, where's the bottle? I mean, I buy it that big, but it's got a cork.
So what I'm getting now that we've added the water to this is it's really brought the wood notes to the front.
Oh yeah.
Which makes sense for the oils to
I have
bring it
never
forward.
done it with this whiskey, by the way.
So that's pretty cool.
I've never drank this whiskey that way before.
It has a softness to it now.
Made it watery.
Yeah. It's not
It's
as
only
exciting.
a 40% to begin with, so it's like the bare minimum. It's not as exciting or interesting. It's still really good. I mean, I would drink it that way. Somebody handed me that, I wouldn't send it back.
Yep. So the third way is on an ice ball or with ice. We prefer an ice ball because it is a larger mass, so therefore it melts slower.
Somebody wrote this whole thing the other day in a comment about the laws of thermodynamics still apply. And, well, you know what? They might be right. I don't know. It was about that long. I read the first 3 lines and went, but here's the thing. Ice balls have less surface to mass ratio. They actually are large volumes with low areas of exposure to the
Where
water.
if you have multiple ice cubes in there, then of course they're going
Lots
to
of
have
surface
a lot
area,
of
they're going to melt
surface area.
faster.
Yeah.
The theory was that it only melts so much, and then eventually it just stops and it's the ambient temperature that changes it. Okay. So while they may be right and I may be wrong, I'm not sure. I do know that the smaller surface to mass ratio of less surface area means it's going to melt a little bit slower. Because if I had put 3 ice cubes in here, which is about the same mass, they would have melted by now. So I'm still going to go with the ice.
Yeah, I think it's a surface area issue versus mass. So he's right, we're right, everybody's right. Yay! But what this does is it adds the water that we had from our second drink, but it also adds a temperature difference, which changes the flavor as well.
Lower temperature turns down flavors, okay? It will make things less, no matter what. It's going to make the smell almost non-existent. Yeah, almost nothing. Like, really just not much aroma at all. It's just almost gone. But if you're new to whiskey, ice is a nice way to get into it easily. Also, I live in Florida. In August, it's 95 degrees and 5 million % humidity. So something cool is good. I like whiskey, I put it on ice. Simple.
Now, I just took a healthy drink of that because I knew it was watered down. I knew it was cold.
And so nice, though.
I was pleasantly surprised that it still had plenty of flavor.
Yeah, this particular scotch, I prefer on ice. I can drink it neat, but it has a little bit of a bitter backbone to it that goes away with ice. I don't know why. The water made it uninteresting. Ice, it's easy drinking and nice. It's not a complex, overly aggressive scotch, but it's got enough caramely flavors. Not quite smoke, but almost a smoked flavor.
But we're not
lovely.
here to talk about this whiskey. We're
Sorry.
here to talk about whiskey in general. So these are the 3 main ways, and sure, there's plenty of other ways to drink whiskey.
Like in coffee.
Like in coffee, like in cocktails.
That's technically a cocktail, though.
Yeah. But this may help you expand your horizons on drinking whiskey, and we'll explain why we do the 3 different steps in our whiskey tasting videos.
So if you like this video, give us a like. If you want to see more of what we're up to, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit that little bell notification icon. That way YouTube lets you know every time we put out something new. We also have a VIP club on Facebook that you can only find through Patreon. Links below. And our 5 and 10 tier people get to have access to the VIP group, which means we're in there. That makes it special, right? And you can ask questions. People are learning from each other. It's a great community forming. It's just awesome. We love it. You should join. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Shut up, Siri. You're done.